Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Tuesday night. It is January 2nd, 2024. 2024. God help us, y'all. It's already started with a bang. I know out here where we live, y'all, and we're in a rural or semi-rural area, and I can't say that word, rural. Anyway, it's more than just fireworks. The last night and the night before last, and maybe the night before, it's all weekend long. Those weren't fireworks. There might have been some fireworks mixed in there, but there was some other things going on. That was the pew pew bang bangs going on and uh, practice hunting. I don't know. Maybe it was a combination of things. Maybe it was more preparation. I don't know, but I've heard more of it in the last 3 days and nights than all the years we've been here. I really think I'm confident in saying that. So makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like somebody's preparing for something. No doubt about it. Starting off with a bang, we got earthquakes, we got runway collisions in Japan, we have college football, we have Mrs. Dawg completing a goal of hers. I got to start with that one. Mrs. Dawg completed, she did this all last year, every day, the Bible recap. It's online and it's called the Bible Recap, and you can access it through the Bible app on your cell device or probably by your laptop too. It's like a podcast too, and so it's called Bible Recap 365. It's a podcast. It starts on January 1, so if you start this, you're only a day behind, so you can catch up pretty quick. But it reads, it goes from Genesis to Revelation, and it's every day. And it doesn't take a long time of each day, but it will read over several chapters of every book in order. And you just read along with it or listen to it. And then after that, you listen to a recap that is presented to you. I forget the lady's name, but that will recap what you just heard or read, give some interpretation, and it's very good. It's very good. I listened to a lot of it while Mrs. Dawg would be listening to it. I didn't listen to every single one, like she did, but and it takes a commitment. That's every day, all year long, and she completed it. Did every bit of it. Didn't miss anything. So I'm really proud of her for doing that. That was awesome, and that was a goal of hers, and she did it. When she puts her mind to something, now she's gonna do it. Gonna do it to it. All right. College football, y'all know I gotta slide that in here sometimes. I know y'all ain't all into that, but college football playoffs, Michigan is going to end up being in the national championship. Michigan versus Washington. Michigan Wolverines, Washington Huskies. Sound off if you are a fan of one of those or from those areas and you're pulling for whoever. Sound off in the comments. I know we have some Washington Huskies fans. I'm not sure about Michigan. I think we have some. I was wrong on both of these games. It's a good thing I'm not a betting man, but I thought Alabama was going to beat Michigan. I was wrong. And I thought Texas would beat Washington, but they didn't. I figured it'd be a good game, and it really was. Both games were very tight, very good, actually. Very good. All right, so let us know about that. I have to mention that stuff, y'all. We had an earthquake in Japan, 7.6 on the Richter scale. That's pretty big. It collapsed dozens of buildings. This happened on the western coast of Japan. It forced thousands from their homes. Luckily, there was no tsunami. They put tsunami warnings out there, but it didn't materialize, thankfully. Deaths, I'm hearing dozens, 50, 60. I've heard different numbers. Not massive, massive, but still, any is not good, So, also a small earthquake in New York City today, I heard. That's weird. That's weird. I know it's not the first time they've had them there before. So I know we have some people here in New York City. If you felt that sound, let us know. But, and the way I started this, God help us, is 2024. I think, and somebody kind of alluded to this in comments from a couple of videos ago, that you can see it on people's faces. And there's a lot of tension in the air out there. No matter where you go, I feel it even at work, and you go to the store, the post office, um, into Quick Trip, into, gas station, whatever, stores, grocery stores. There's a lot of tension. It's very you can feel it. It's almost palpable, and I think a lot of people are worried. You can just see it on their faces. They have a serious look. Now you have some people that are, uh, very, animated and smiling and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I think it's just on a lot of people's minds, a lot of worry, and with some reason. I mean, and that's why I wore this hat, is faith over fear. Now, it's human for us. It's very human for us to worry and have some fear, but we have to remember our faith, and not let that take over. Not let that take over and make us panic. Okay. With that said, though, I think there is a lot of anxiety out there. And, if you really look at it, I would think anyone with some sense, some critical thinking skills, they've been observant of things over the last several years, especially over the last year or so, has a good reason to really be concerned. Because, I mean, just to name a few: political, you got elections this year, you got the potential for massive unrest. No matter what happens with that election, you have the potential for massive unrest. You really do, y'all. You really do. Economic issues, inflation is not stopping. You have potential for war, WW3, war, not potential war. We got several hotspots. Wars going on right now, but that could spiral out of control even worse. You got the southern border, which is a serious, in my opinion, it's a serious emergency. It really is. And it's just ongoing, it continues. It's really terrible. It's terrible. Um, so I think you can just feel it. I fear that, or I shouldn't say I fear, but I'm concerned that, with everything going on, and I think we have some time. I think we should keep preparing and keep circling the wagon, so to speak, and prepare what we can financially as well. Your provisions, keep stocking up on things, as you're able, as you can. We can't control everything. We can't prepare for every single thing. And I have a feeling there's going to be something that comes out of us at us that we're not expecting as well this year. A lot of people are sick. A lot of people are sick with this. I don't know what this is, but it just lingers for a very long time. And so far, we've been able to avoid it here, but I don't know for how long. So that's something. That's something there. I got to get to this too. I'll come back to this, but this part of it. But I got to mention Bidenomics. This White House press secretary, I saw this earlier. She said, I forget her name, but it's not important. She said Bidenomics, the president always puts equity at the center of every policy that he puts forward. So let me start with that one. Whenever I hear the word equity, I'm thinking dog squeeze, big time, every single time, because we know that's what it is. It's a bunch of squeeze, and they know it, but they're going to keep saying it. And then she said, there's no evidence of any Biden family corruption. Okay, okay. Who believes that? They think we are stupid, don't they? I mean, who would believe this? What country is this? Ah, come on, come on, lady. I mean, really? And she says it with a straight face. How are you sleeping? How is it possible? Bidenomics, and she says people need to give Bidenomics more of a chance, more time to work for them. Well, it's working on us, all right. Bankrupting the nation, the middle class, your fuel, your food, etc. Home ownership's off the table for so many people. So many young people making good money can't afford a home. Or if they do, they're going to be so house poor they can't buy a dang lawnmower or fuel for their automobile. By the way, the average cost. Now, you got to put this on some individuals too, people who are signing up for this, but the average new vehicle cost per month is $726 a month. And that's the average, y'all. The average. The average monthly payment for a new vehicle, $726. For used, $533. That's insane. I wouldn't want to pay near that for a new one. And for new vehicles, 40% of those are financed. I think I'm reading that right. But anyway, 726 and 533, 70% of people, almost 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Almost 60% can't afford an emergency that's $1,000. So that's how it's working on us, lady. That's how it's working on us. It's working on us, all right. It's burying us. It's burying the middle class into oblivion. That's what it's doing. If you give it more time, it's going to bury us under the pavement and way under. That's the goal, I guess, to give it more time. All right. I don't get it. And with the election coming up, this year, no matter, like I alluded to, and I think this is on a lot of people's minds. I think, and I know it's on mine, but a lot of people are concerned. You have a two-headed monster here that's very evil. You have the elections, and then this border crisis, and the war could go crazy, or one of the wars could just go crazy and go global. But no matter what the outcome is of the election, the other side is going to have a reaction, like I've said before. Now, depending on how that turns out, it could be uglier than anything we saw in the summer of 2020. You know what I mean? What happened then went on for weeks and weeks, to most people's horror. And every major city was on fire. And I knew then. I'm like, well, the jig is up, um, for this nation, as far as we know it. It's never going to be the same, and it's not. And like I said, I got to go back to faith over fear, right? We can't let it just paralyze us to where we can't function. We can prepare the best we can, and go from there. Watch every dollar you spend it wisely, and let's just take it and really take a hard look at our preps, our security around our home and neighborhood. For some reason, that's just really been on my mind a lot lately, maybe for a reason. So share your thoughts on this. I'm going to go to the passage because it's really good. It's encouraging, and it'll apply to every one of you. So let me go to that. This was covered in our church service this Sunday, and it is from let's see, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and I'll go for several verses here. It's talking about spiritual gifts. Now, about spiritual gifts, brothers, I do not want you to be ignorant. You know that when you were pagans, somehow or other you were influenced and led astray by mute idols. Therefore, I tell you that no one who is speaking by the Spirit of God says, Jesus be cursed, and no one can say Jesus is Lord except by the Holy Spirit. Here's where it goes. Here's where it really starts. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but the same God works all of them in all men. Now, to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for common good. To one, there is given the Spirit, the message of wisdom, another, the message of knowledge by means of the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by that one Spirit, to one another miraculous powers, to another prophecy, to another distinguishing between spirits, to another speaking in different kinds of tongues, and to still another interpretation of the tongues. All these are the work of one and the same Spirit, and he gives them to each one just as he determines. Amen. We all have a spirit. It's God-given, and you may know yours, but we're called to use that to further the kingdom, and not do it in a way that just puts all the attention on us. It's all the attention to him, right? The credit is to him. So figure out and what your gift is, and if you're pretty sure you know what it is, how can you use it? How can you use it to further his kingdom? All right. So I challenge you with that. Share your thoughts on that if you know what it is, what you do with it. All right. Let's keep an eye on preparation and keep an eye on what's going on, and let's be safe. Let's be safe out there. God bless you. I'll see you soon.